The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke, Kevin Price, and Robbie Ross. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty.
Tonight, Garrett Grady's introduction as Brunswick High School's new football coach. Sean talks with Jamie Ammons, Robbie Pruitt, Barry Tanner, and Kevin Price. It's On Air with 912 Sports. Thanks for watching.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and I had the honor and privilege of covering the Garrett Grady press conference this past Friday as he was introduced as the new head football coach for the Brunswick High Pirates. Glenn County School System Athletic Director Steve Waters introduced Garrett as the Pirates' new head coach, and here's some of what he had to say about the hiring process.
Certainly an exciting day for me and for Brunswick High School and Glenn County Schools Athletics, and no doubt in my mind, Coach Grady is the right guy after going through the interview process to lead this program to the next step, which is certainly it's hard to go to a next step when you're coming off an undefeated season, but there's always ways to get better on and off the field, and he is the guy that we are convinced can get us to that next level. Coach Grady has been here, as you guys know, throughout the Pender era, all 5 years. He's been kind of the guy behind the scenes, really doing a lot of our social media work, our player development work and things of that nature. His record speaks for itself. He came to us from Pierce County High School, where he's the offensive coordinator there, and then the running backs coach at Valdosta State. So his offensive record speaks for itself, and certainly we're looking forward to great things on that side of the ball and continuing what we've done on the defensive side of the ball. What's really sold us as an athletic department is the relationship he has with our players. It's not many times within an hour after you post a job that I'm getting text and Twitter messages and Facebook messages from players in support of a coach. But that's what happened here. The entire assistant coaching staff all supported Coach Grady. The entire Brunswick community supported Coach Grady. And that hasn't happened since 2012 when I started as athletic director, but everybody in this community knows what he has done for our kids and our students here at Brunswick High. And so with that, it really made our decision easy, because it's more than just wins and losses. It's how you develop players off the field as well, and this guy is a champion in both of those.
Coach Grady has been with former Pirates coach Sean Pender for several years, and here are some of his thoughts on what Coach Pender means to him and his family.
Coach Pender set the bar very high, and we're going to continue to do that, and we're going to take it up a notch. And that's one coach that influenced my life very much, and I'm very thankful and grateful for him. There's been many coaches throughout my coaching career and even high school playing career that influenced my life and made an impact on me, and that's what you see, and that's who I am today. So that I'm forever grateful.
Coach Grady wore many hats prior to becoming the head coach, but the main one was he was the offensive coordinator. So the obvious question is, who will be the next offensive coordinator at Brunswick High School?
I got some ideas. I'm not going to release any names right now. Some of our coaches are already at the Glazier Clinic in Atlanta, at the Renaissance Waverly. They hold a clinic there. It's a 3-day clinic. And that's what we're trying to do in the offseason, get educated and then come back and bounce ideas off each other and figure out what are we going to implement this spring. And one of the guys that I'm going to speak to is at the clinic, and he's very interested in coming here. We just got to straighten some things out and talk to him, and I'll release his name at a little later date. But yes, he is a guy that I'm going to bring in for our offense coordinator spot.
Coach Grady was asked if he sees any system changes coming for the offense.
Not very much system change, but we're going to fit our offense to our players. We graduated some really good running backs last year, so our run game was really strong, and we're going to go forth and see in the spring what our guys are going to do. And we got some special receivers coming back, and 4 out of 5 offensive line coming back. Our defense is still intact. A lot of good guys still in that defense, and it all starts up front. With both lines of scrimmages are very strong. So we'll definitely see. With the offensive system, I like him to come into our system and, run what he wants to run, but within our means with our players.
As I mentioned before, Coach Grady wore several hats prior to becoming head coach. So I asked, how many people would it take to replace him if he had to fill all those positions?
Still, as a head coach, you got to delegate your duties. And even though I'm going to have my hand in the mix with everything, it's all about trusting your coaches and letting them go into work and not being a micromanager and having trust in those guys. But recruiting coordinator, equipment, assistant head coach, offensive line coach, you name it. But that's the one thing I did, was to make Coach Pender's job easier so he could focus on things as a head coach would. And he allowed me a lot of experience, hands-on experience, and learning from your mistakes, and then making sure you don't make them again. But one of the biggest things was probably the recruiting aspect that you saw Brunswick High have the opportunities for these guys to go to college from NAIA all the way to Division I, and they represent Brunswick High very well, and I'm proud of those guys.
The question was posed to Coach Grady about his highly regarded staff. Do you see any role changes or anyone leaving or coming onto the staff?
And we'll know that in the next few days. I definitely think at the clinic, there's job opportunities everywhere. So if one of our coaches is afforded an opportunity and they're interested in, I'm all for it. I want them to be happy. And if they have an opportunity to go somewhere, that's fine. I'm sure Coach Pender's doing the same thing with his staff right now. But if we'll see that in the next few days, I think that'll be, between me and the coaches right now, discussing. And the main thing is that their family and them are happy, and I'm all support for that. But yes, some coaches may have different roles. I know I'm going to delegate certain things that I did out and oversee them, but I'm going to trust those coaches to do that duty. So.
Personally, I'm thrilled about the Brunswick hire. I had the opportunity to speak to several coaches in the 912 family after Coach Pender signed his resignation. And to a man, they all said Garrett Grady was the right man for the job, and I couldn't agree more. So congratulations to Coach Garrett and his wife, Erica, and kudos to the powers that be at Brunswick High School for making a great hire. We'll be right back here after these messages on Air with 912 Sports.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robinson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined here by the head coach of the Ware County Gators baseball team, Coach Jamie Emmons. Coach, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing great, Sean. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, appreciate you being on the show, Coach. You guys finished the season, Jamie, in the Final Four of 5A last year. You're going to start off this season as ranked number 7 in the state in 5A. Got a great team coming back. Got some holes to fill from some big time players we'll get into in a minute. But let's talk a little bit about, coaches, what has gotten the Gators to this point. I mean, this program has been usually a one and done here the last several seasons, but this past year made it all the way to the Final Four. What's the one thing that you can point to of the success of the Gators here from last year?
I think, honestly, Sean, last year's group was the first group that I've had for 4 years that really understood what our philosophy was, really knew what we were trying to do offensively and on the mound. And when you have 3 seniors, you look, we only lost 3 seniors.
Correct.
But 3 seniors that had the greatest impact on the program than probably in any class in the last 10 years. Caleb Stewart, Jet Justice, and Jordan Aspinwall, it didn't take but one practice, one team meeting to miss those guys.
Right.
And you don't have Caleb running around at short, you don't have Jet in center, you don't have Jordan in left. And, those guys were – they'd been at every practice that I'd been at in Ware County. So when we started practice this year, it was a little different for me.
Right. Well, Coach, one of your big philosophies last year, and really ran yourself into a Final Four position there, was stealing bases on the backs of Caleb Stewart, like you mentioned. Caleb, the most prolific base stealer in Ware County history. He has the most stolen bases. Will that be some of your philosophy this year? Will that be something that's a big part of the program? And if so, who's some of the guys that we might look out for to be stealing bases?
Well, Sean, each year when you have a new team, you got to figure out what their role is or what their MO, how they're going to score runs. So we know we want to try to score runs. We want to keep the opposition from scoring runs. So we got to find a way what fits this team. And I'm just not sure yet. We'll start tomorrow when we go down to clinch and just see what we can see how these guys mesh together and see. Obviously, I like a run and gun kind of offense. Get the guys in motion. Get some balls in the gaps, that kind of thing. That kind of goes back to my philosophy that I played college baseball with Coach Mitchell and Coach Carty at Georgia College is you get guys in motion, get a lot of fastballs, and good hitters barrel baseballs.
Okay. Well, Coach, one of the strengths you talked about on the defensive side of the ball, your defense was stellar last year, but the pitching mound was one of your key components. Talk a little bit about who you've got coming back, who's going to be throwing the ball from the mound this year for the Gators.
Okay. Last year our rotation was Noah Hooks, Caden Henderson, and Landon Dean. 2 of those 3 are back. Noah, unfortunately, had a shoulder surgery in October, but he's going to be back. Everything's timeline on that's going ahead of schedule. He's playing in the field. He's taking BP and all that kind of stuff. So we're anticipating getting him back. We just don't know when yet and to what role with him on the mound. And he had 58 innings we got to fill with these other guys that we're going to ask to get the ball. But Caden and Landon are back. Carter Barnes is back. Lane Steedley's back. We got some young guys that are going to fill in with, you got Noah Bunch that's kind of a dark horse. Nobody, he learned to pitch this fall. Mm-hmm. But when we graduated those 3 seniors, this is actually my largest class of freshmen coming in. Mm-hmm. There's 13 freshmen that are coming over, and I think about 8 of those guys pitch. So It's going to be exciting to see who can get ready the fastest out of that group and fill in those innings to make up for the loss of Noah. But
I'm also anxious to see how quick we can get him back and get him back on the mound, because Sean, as soon as I give him the ball, he gives it back, in the seventh. So.
Right. I mean, Noah was almost perfect last year coaching the playoffs. I mean, I forget what did he give up 1 run in 4 games that he pitched. So that's a big loss. It'll be great when when he does come back. But Coach, let's look at that senior bunch. You graduated 3 last year. You've got a bunch coming back this year. Who are your seniors, and what kind of roles are they going to be playing for you this year?
Okay, we'll just start at the top in alphabetical order here. Carter Barnes is going to be one of those utility guys. He's going to play some third. He's going to pitch. He may play first. Just the thing about our arms is they're all mostly on the infield. So each guy plays multiple positions depending on who we're starting that day. We got JoJo Callahan back to play second. He played second for us last year on that Final Four team and really makes the routines, really, handles his spot at second and does what we ask him to do there. Shalon Christmas, he's going to play corner outfield. We don't know if it's going to be left or right yet. Last year he played right, but he's kind of versatile in how we like the matchups and stuff like that. Of course, Noah's back right now. He's playing first base instead of third, but he'll be all over as well. Anchoring down the catching position is Trey Jeffers. Trey is a senior that's caught for me now for 3 years and really understands what we're trying to do from a defensive side and is an extension of the coaching staff when he's back there. Trey signed a scholarship to go play at Truett McConnell, and he's going to do great things there, but I'm anxious to see what these next 30 games get him here at Ware County. Stephen Taylor's a senior that's another corner outfield guy that is probably going to factor in and really do a good job defensively, and he kind of understands the base running that we're looking for as well. He ran some bases for us last year, and that really rounds out our seniors. We only have 6 this year, but those 6 are going to be very vital to our success.
Right. Well, Coach, you got a big boost from your underclassmen last year and a couple names, and I know I'm going to leave some out, but I'll just throw some out there. Landon Dean came on strong. Caden Henderson came on strong. Both of those guys on the pitching mound. But Alex Justice was another kid that was an underclassman that really contributed. Who are some of the guys that that are going to be contributing this year as underclassmen?
Okay, you got, really, Sean, it's that junior class that we're talking of, and that junior class has some great athletes in it. Landon Dean, like you said, Caden Henderson, Alex, Lane, Easton Weathersby. A lot of people didn't know a lot about Easton because Easton had an injury last year, but he understood his role when he ran bases. Probably one of the best base runners that we've had in a long time to understand what we're trying to do. Lane Steveley's going to be a corner outfield guy and play DH for us. He swings the bat really well. You'll remember his game-winning hit against Cartersville. Right. Just really clutch there. Alex is probably going to end up being the center fielder and doing a great job there. He gets a great jump, reads the ball well, and we're anxious to see what he can do. Caden and Landon are going to play third and short. Not really sure who's tit for tat there, but when Landon's pitching, Caden's going to play short. When Caden's pitching, Landon's going to play short. 2 young guys that I anticipate, Tegan Harris and Noah Bunch. They kind of traveled with us last year and got to experience what high level baseball's like when you go. We went on the road there to Stars Mill, and that playoff run. Really, as sophomores, they got, or as freshmen, they got to see that, and this year we're going to ask them as sophomores to contribute to our success. Tegan swings the bat really well, and he's a utility guy. He's our backup catcher. He can play left field. He can DH. He's got a lot of tools that he brings. Noah Bunch is the outfielder. He plays center field, and you'll also see him on the mound.
Okay. All right. Well, Coach, this is going to be next year before the region changes. This is basically an invert of last year. But let's talk about some of those teams. Wayne County, Coffee County, all those guys ranked in the top 10 going into the season along with yourself. This is going to be a tough region for the Gators this year.
Absolutely. Anytime you see Coffee, Wayne, Veterans, and Warner Robins on your region schedule, you got your work cut out for you. Yeah. Wayne, until somebody beats them, they're the favorite. You're going to say that. But Coffee's got a really good team coming back. They were really tough last year, and we got really lucky to win some one-run games there in that last week of the season to get us that 2 spot. which I think propelled us in the playoffs. But Coffee's got the nucleus of their team coming back. And like I said, Wayne, veterans, I'm not really sure of. Can't really get a measuring stick on them. And, Warner Robins has got some great athletes. And but veterans, I think, going back to veterans, I think they're going to be in the mix as well.
Yeah. Well, Coach, it's going to be a great season. We're going to have every game for everybody right here on 912sports.net. Can't wait to get things kicked off. It's next Tuesday, the 15th. You guys will be traveling over to Brunswick to take on the Brunswick High Pirates and Coach Greg Robertson, his second year over there. So it's going to get the season rolling right off the bat. You guys got a bunch, if you look at the schedule, got a bunch of road games, Coach, right off the bat. Kind of a couple weeks where you guys get to play a few home games. So looking forward to the season. You guys get better every day. And let's go get them Gators.
All right, thanks, Sean. Go Gators.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and I'm joined here with, this is kind of strange to say, the former head coach of the Coffee County Trojans, Coach Robbie Pruitt. Coach, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, Sean. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you coming on the show. And for viewers that haven't heard Coach Pruitt, you are retiring from the state of Georgia. I believe you put your papers in last Friday, and the announcement was made by your touchdown club that after 10 years there as the head man at Coffee County, amassing a record of 83 and 38 overall. There with the Trojans, you decided to hang it up and take a job down in Florida, which we'll get into a little bit. But Coach, you've been in the coaching profession now for 39 years. Overall record of 376 wins, 93 losses, and 1 tie. And the funny thing is your 1 tie, I believe, is to the Coffee County Trojans when you were at Fitzgerald. But Coach, that's a heck of a career, being able to win 376 games. And I know it's kind of bittersweet for you to be leaving Coffee County, so I'll just let you talk a little bit about what went into that decision and where you're going to next.
Well, it was a tough decision, Sean. It's a great place, and Coffee County's been good to me, and I've enjoyed it here. And Georgia's been an awesome place. I'm awful glad I came 22 years ago. I've been in Georgia 22 years now, and when I was at Fitzgerald, they bought the 7 years I had coaching out of Union County High School, my 7 years of public school. So if you take that, I've got 22 years, and I finished with 29 years buying those 7, and I got 2 years of sick leave. So I'm sitting right here at 31 years right now that I can have of credible service in the state of Georgia. And when I was in Florida, you had to go 10 years to be vested. So I was there 7, and since that time, they dropped it to 6 and then raised it to 8. So the way it is presently in the state of Florida is you have to get 8 years to be vested, and I have 7. So I can draw a full retirement and go to Florida and draw a full salary plus full retirement and just go one more year and have a second retirement, a pension from Georgia and a pension from Florida. And when you put it down on paper and all, it's just it's too good to pass up. And then my parents are in 80 years old now, and 80 and 81 years old, and they're in Florida where I'm going. I'll be about 30 minutes from them. So it was just the right time. Like I said, if you put it on paper, it's just it's too good of a situation for me not to, while I still got my health and able to go down and be there closer to my parents and my brother and my youngest son, and has a grandchild. He's in Tampa, so it kind of puts me there where between all my kids, Tucker's and Fitzgerald and Tyler's and Valdosta and Trenton's in Tampa, so it kind of puts me in between all them and right there by my parents while they're, kind of getting up in age.
Right. Well, Coach, you're going to Williston High School. That's in Levy County, kind of southwest of Gainesville. I believe that county goes all the way over to the all the way over to the coast, with Cedar Key being one of the towns that is in that county. But talk a little bit about Williston. What classification are they there in Florida, and what kind of program are you taking over down there?
Well, they haven't been very good, Sean. They went 1-9 last year, and they haven't had a winning record since 2015, I think it is, 2015 or 16. So when I was in Florida, that was one of the teams that we had to play against every year in order to win. We had districts back then, and they were one of the tougher teams, but they've hit some hard times, and so when they called me, like I said, I had the situation where I'm at. That's close to my mom's in Chiefland, about 30 minutes away from there. So it just it was a good situation for me. I don't know if you know much about Williston, but it's in a jewel of a place. I like to hunt and fish, and they're 30-something minutes from the Gulf of Mexico. Trout and redfish there at Cedar Key, and the Swanee River is about 25 minutes from there, and you got the Walkasassa River that goes to the Gulf is 8 miles from there, and about 15 miles south, you got Crystal River and Rainbow River. So it's a small town that's only 17 miles from Gainesville and like 19 miles from Ocala. So it's kind of a jewel of a place to live if you enjoy trout and red fishing and those kind of things. And I do. And like I said, I got my brothers close to there, my mom and dad. And so it's a neat little place. It's got a lot of work to be done, but it's a neat little place.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I mean, what are they? 2A, 3A, 4A? What classification are they for?
They're actually 1A, but in Florida, they got, I don't even know how they have so many classifications now, and it's really crazy the way they do it. Lake Butler's in that. When I was in Lake Butler, we were 3A out of 6. They had 6 classifications at that time. No, really 5, and then went to 6. They had 5 classifications and then went to 6 classifications, but they have private school and, a rural league and an urban league. And it's really right now it's up. They're redoing all that. So I don't know where they're actually going to land. It's because it's really about schools the size of Fitzgerald probably, but they're 1A now, but I don't know where they're going to end up. They could be 3A because they have a lot of the private schools are 2A. Right. So that they're bigger than. So I don't know how it's going to end up.
Okay. And as far as the coaching staff, Coach, what are your plans? Do you know of any of your coaches that are going with you, or are you going to be building a staff from the ground up, or where do you stand as far as that goes, getting down to Will?
I have one coach. Coach Vaughn's going to coach me down in Florida and Fitzgerald and here, and he's going to go down with me. His parents are also down. He's from there, and his parents are from Denellen, which is about 20 miles south of Williston. So he's going with me, and then I'll be building a staff from there. It's not like Georgia where you get as many coaches as we have here, but hopefully I'm going to be able to bring on 3 or 4 coaches, and then hopefully I'll be able to keep a few coaches that are on that staff there now as well.
Right. Okay. Well, Coach, I guess we talked about this off camera. I mean, Coffee's plan is to post a job, I think, tomorrow, you said, and then try to take applications and then kind of go from there.
That's my understanding. I haven't really talked to the guys that will be making that decisions, but that's what my understanding is from what I heard just before I got on with you. They were going to post a job. I didn't know if they would hire from within or not. We have some good coaches here, and the ship sure isn't broke by no means, but I think they, from my understanding, they've decided to open it up. So I guess they'll open it up tomorrow, but I haven't heard, I'm not kind of in that loop as far as who they would hire and who they wouldn't hire.
Right. Okay. Well, Coach, we just want to take a second and tell you, first of all, congratulations. Stellar career, 376 wins. Great job there at Coffee County the last, several years, winning region titles, playing for a state title, not only at Fitzgerald, but also at Coffee County. And you guys you have been a friend to me and a friend of 912 Sports. And I just want to take a second and tell you thank you and appreciate everything you've done for us. And just wish you the best as you travel on down to Florida to finish out your career.
Well, I appreciate that, Sean. You've been a friend to me too in our program, and I appreciate what you do for high school football. You do an awesome job, you and your whole crew there at 912 Sports, and it's been a joy to work with you guys. And I sure appreciate how you've treated us, and it's you do a lot for the whole South Georgia community, and I know all of us are all grateful to you for doing that.
Well, we appreciate the kind words, and hey, listen, don't ever be afraid to pick up that phone and call me to go red fishing. I'm in. I can make that ride to Williston.
All right, I'll do that. Give me a little while to get established down there, and I'll do that. We'll call you.
That sounds great, Coach. Hey, we appreciate it, buddy. Best of luck to you, and if we can ever do anything here to help you, just pick up the phone and call us.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. That's Coach Robert Pruitt, former head coach of the Coffee County Trojans. And we'll be right back here with more after these words from our sponsors.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and I'm joined here by the president of the Miracle League of the Okefenokee, Mr. Barry Tanner. Barry, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, Sean. Thanks.
Hey, man, appreciate you being on the show tonight. You guys, Barry, have got a big event coming up Friday night, the 18th, at Memorial Stadium, and tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about it.
Sean, it's going to be a great event, actually. It's our first attempt at what we're going to call a Friday Night Lights with the Miracle League. And the Miracle League is a group of players from 5 years old to 75 years old in the Okefenokee area and surrounding counties that have been playing ball in our area for about 18 years. And we're trying to raise money for an all-inclusive field, all-accessible field we call it, and we're getting really close. But this event is going to bring a couple of things to light. Hopefully it's going to be a night that these players will always remember. Number one, that's our number one goal. And secondly, it's going to increase awareness, like Sean's helping us do tonight, about the Miracle League and just telling people who they are and how they can see us and how they can be a part of us and how we can possibly even recruit other players for our Miracle League. And then the third way is we're going to try to raise some money for this field, hopefully coming up. So those are our mission statements, if you will, for this particular event, but we're really excited about it. If you ever want to see baseball with all smiles all the time, come out to the Memorial Stadium on February the 18th, and I promise you'll get that.
Yeah, it's free admission, Barry. It starts at 7 p.m. Like I said, it's going to be a fun night. I think you guys have got some special guests that are going to be there. I think some of the Ware County football players, cheerleaders, are going to be a part of the event as well.
Yes, Sean. We're going to try to make it as close to and as exciting as the Ware County football games. And we're going to try to do everything that we're going to emulate that to the nth degree if at all possible. So we're even going to have a run through for the players. So some cheerleaders holding up a nice banner with the kids busting through. Kids/players, busting through, and then we're going to do it upright, hopefully. And we hope to have some buddies out there that are Ware County football players. We got some coaches that are going to be there with us helping. So it's going to be an exciting time for our players, 100%, if everybody will come out and support us.
Exactly. And may have a celebrity throwing out the first pitch. Working on that right now, right?
Yeah, we're going to have a celebrity one way or the other. it'll be a fun part of the event for sure. Yeah.
Right. Well, guys, make your plans now. That's this Friday at Memorial Stadium at 7 p.m. Come on out and check out the Miracle League of the Okefenokee as these kids and adults get to play under the Friday night lights there at Memorial Stadium. Going to be a great event. And if you want to become involved, Barry, what's the best way for them to get hold of you?
They can just get a hold of me here at Southeastern Credit Union at 912-809-3572. Or they can call on my cell, even 912-281-8696, and I'll get you some information about our sponsorship opportunities to be in a program, and opportunities to be up on the big board. One of the exciting parts of our plan is to have each player, when they come to bat, visually put on the screen, and hopefully they'll be able to see themselves up on that big screen and be fired up about that, and even more smiles coming our way.
Exactly.
Thanks,
like I said, going to be a great night there, Barry. Looking forward to it. We'll see you on Friday the 18th.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing today, buddy?
Good, Sean. Just good to be here talking high school sports, crossover season, kind of like we talked about last week with winter sports starting to collide with the spring sports. But the good news is we do have a postseason and the start of a season, so it's all kind of exciting however you look at it.
Yeah, and a big week over there in Brunswick last week, Kevin. Garrett Grady's press conference was last Friday. Had a chance to attend. You saw the interview previously in the show, but a really solid hire there for Brunswick High, Kevin. I think the powers that be did the right thing there. Steve Waters actually alluded to it in his in the press conference about how all the kids were really behind Grady. He started texting and blowing up his phone about wanting Grady to be the head coach there. And I had an opportunity to talk to several head coaches, after Pender resigned. And to a man, every one of them said, listen, Garrett Grady's the right man for that job. And Brunswick did the right thing, I think, and put him in that position.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, here's a guy that's been an assistant coach, kind of worked his way up the ladder. Certainly spent, the last 5 years here in the Brunswick program in a lot of roles. I think that's something that stands out as well. Not only was he the offensive line coach, but the offensive coordinator and the recruiting coordinator. And, I guess, Sean, you mentioned that he had a lot of support internally. And that's good to see. The players and other coaches and the fans felt like they had somebody there in place to take over and take the ball and run with it, I guess you could say. And then the fact that a lot of coaches, like you said, you talk to, whether they're assistants or head coaches or maybe former coaches in this area who got to know Coach Grady when they were coaching in the 912. I mean, pretty much wherever Brunswick football has been on the road, whether it's Southeast Georgia, up in Metro Atlanta area, Coach Grady's been there. And that's largely because he takes a lot of the kids on the recruiting visits and whatnot. And so when you see a Brunswick High Pirate football helmet or a Brunswick High Pirates jerseys, there's a good chance that Coach Grady's somewhere around there. And I think, obviously, he'll be able to just, again, take the ball and run with it and see if he can take this program to new heights. They got a good base established. They set up a pretty good foundation with Coach Pender and the current coaching staff and started getting the players to believe and buy into not only the system but other things around the program. They had this all in the family saying that, of course, about, and, of course, it really came to fruition this year with the murder of Ahmad Arbery, and a lot of the kids and that Brunswick High community knew him and his family, and all that stuff they kind of had in place helped them to cope with all that and try to make the best of a tough situation. So I think a lot of good things are in place, not only X's and O wise, but elsewhere as well. And that should pay off hopefully for the program going forward.
Yeah, going to be an exciting time there in Brunswick this football season, all throughout the spring and summer workouts, and then when we get into the fall for sure. Kevin, and another thing that kind of caught a lot of people off guard, I kind of knew about this. It was kind of a underlying tone that it had been talked about, but I thought we had kind of got past in the season that this was not going to happen, and that was Coach Robbie Pruitt retiring from Georgia, taking a job down in Williston, Florida, to go down there for a couple more years before he retires. You saw in the interview how he explained what all that was about and why he did that. I completely understand why he did that, but it had to be bittersweet for him to walk away from that job there at Coffee County.
Yeah, I think we maybe talked about it towards the end of football season. Of course, we had heard rumors, off and on through a couple of different years with different coaches around here, and him being one of them. Right or wrong, but I guess this time where there was smoke, there was fire, if you want to use that analogy. And yeah, I mean, that had to be a tough decision for him. Obviously, he's again, there's a program right there in Douglas, Coffee, with a good base, a good system in place. And, regardless of what they do with the next hire, somebody's going to inherit a really good football program with a lot of good players and a program that's had success. And again, hopefully they can take the ball and run with it. I certainly see that potentially happening. But Coach Pruitt has some good sound reasoning for that. I mean, everybody has to do what they feel like is best for themselves and their families. And, that's where he started off as a coach and had a lot of really great success there. And then he came back, came to Georgia and obviously has some success at a couple of different programs. So good to see him being in a situation where he can do what he wants to do and kind of retire and go out on his own accord.
Exactly. And 376 wins, going to try to add to that. It's going to be tough, Kevin, leaving a program that was, perennial powerhouses and playoff, bound every year to go to a team that was 1-9 last year. So got a little bit of work to do there in Williston. So, but if there's anybody can turn around, it's definitely Coach Pruitt. So it'll be interesting to kind of follow from afar, what he's able to do down there. Kevin, we got a big event. You saw a commercial for it earlier, coming up this Friday at Memorial Stadium, 7:00. For the Miracle League of the Okefenokee, going to have those kids and adults out there playing baseball under the lights there at Memorial Stadium. Going to try to make it as much like a Friday night football atmosphere as they possibly can. For the special needs teams that are going to come in there and play. Going to be a great night here in Ware County at Memorial Stadium. And listen, if you're a corporate sponsor or if you're an individual that wants to become involved, please get in touch with Barry Tanner. Get in touch with us. We'll get you in touch with Barry Tanner, and you can be a part of that great event that's coming up Friday, the 18th at 7 p.m. There at Memorial Stadium. But Kevin had a big wrestling weekend again. It seems like every week for the last several weeks we've been talking about wrestling, but it's in that season. A lot of region championships this past weekend. Guys getting ready to go to Macon to wrestle for state championships, and a lot of 912 kids are going to be represented there at Macon.
Yeah, the thing about wrestling, it's a long postseason after a good regular season as well. And wrestling is one of those sports that starts first semester right towards the end of football season, and of course, kind of starts in conjunction with basketball. And then they do, possibly wrestle over the winter break, the Christmas break, and then they get right into January, and that's where it really picks up with their postseason. We had the area or the region tournaments where we had the dual team wrestling. Then they went to state sectionals, and then they went to the state tournament. Of course, here in Glenn County, we hosted the 6A state duels, which was a big deal. But then out of the duels, they go right into the traditional wrestling, where it's basically individual based. Guys for each team compete in their own weight classes and try to get through the area meet, the sectional meet, which was this past weekend. And then now they're going to the big overall state meet in Macon. And I tell you what, it was a big crowd here this past Saturday. Brunswick's hosted everything, I think, sectionals and state championships and whatnot, and had a huge crowd on hand for the 6A sectional that they hosted. And then, as you know, Sean, it's going to be a huge crowd in Macon, scattered out over a couple of days, as wrestlers from all over the state, all the classifications, all the weight classes come there to compete for state championships. And, of course, it is individual based, but the more individuals you have and the better they do, there is still a team championship on the line. And speaking of that, we all know Camden is a dominant force in 7A. They're going for another traditional title this weekend after already winning the duels. And they've certainly got the wrestlers qualified to do that, I think, with a wrestler in every class, if we're not mistaken, Sean. And then Brunswick, hey, they're right there. They set a school record this year as well. Saturday, qualifying 13 wrestlers to go to state. Not all of them were first or second. I mean, they had some third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, but the bottom line is pretty much their whole team is going to Macon. Glen Academy had, I think, 6 or 8 as well, including Jackson Wakeland, who won the 182 state championship, I believe it was last year. I know he's wrestling in 182 this year. And it might be interesting to see if it's Jackson Wakeland against Leon Charlton. I think Wakeland won this weekend in the sectional, finished first, Charlton finished second. And then last weekend at the area wrestling, Leon Charlton actually clipped Jackson Wakeland. So it would be cool to see those two guys maybe battling it out for the state championship. But anybody that's going to win 6A has got to get through the Buford wrestlers. Anybody that's going to try to win 7A is going to have to get through those Camlin wrestlers. And another guy to watch out for Brunswick is Anthony Lowe. I think he might have got beaten this weekend, surprisingly, in his weight class, and I think had to settle for second. But maybe that motivates him a little more. I know he's got a chance to win a state championship for the Pirates as well. Of course, he was our student athlete of the month this past month in January. And, of course, as you know, Sean, we've got our February athletes of the month out now.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, so congratulations to all those guys for making it to Macon. It's going to be, like you said, a big crowd up there. This is kind of what everybody in the state, focuses on all year long to get to Macon. So hopefully we'll have several state champions to talk about here in the upcoming shows. But Kevin, you guys wrapped up the regular season of Golden Isles basketball this past Friday night over on the road in Richmond Hill. And we're going to try to do some postseason games. We don't have a schedule yet because it's kind of going to be depending on who wins, who plays who, where they play at, that sort of thing. So tell everybody a little bit about Golden Isles basketball and what we're going to do going forward.
Yeah, well, it's been a lot of fun. Dan Moore and I have been doing all the boys' games pretty much, and then he's come on and helped me with some of the girls' games here recently. Of course, we've had some other guys like Jesse Watkins, the coach at the College of Coastal Georgia, chipping in and helping as well. You've been here for a few games as well. And I tell you what, it's been an exciting season for both Brunswick and Glen. I mean, the Glen boys are 17-7, I think, right now through their regular season. The Glen girls are right around the 500 mark. The BHS boys are, I think, 14-9, going here at the end of the season. And then the Brunswick girls have only lost the one game to Bradwell, where they got tripped up in Hinesville a couple of weeks ago. But it should be an exciting postseason for the local teams that we cover on Golden Isles basketball. And there's a really good chance that they're going to possibly all square off against each other, whether it's in boys or girls. And, we'll just have to see how the brackets hold and the brackets shape up. But there's a good chance that we could see another Brunswick-Glen matchup really in either the boys or the girls. And, of course, we would love to be there for that. And then hopefully if any of our teams do make the championship games, we will be there as well. And, of course, good chance for the Brunswick High Lady Pirates to certainly do that as either, certainly one of the two best teams in the league based on the regular season. And then, wouldn't be surprised to see the Glen boys or really even the Brunswick boys make a run. I know Statesboro and Effingham, from what I've seen, might be the cream of the crop, the top two teams in the region 2 6A. But after that, it's a logjam. There's really no telling what's going to happen. And Glen had a chance to beat Statesboro on the road. Brunswick gave Statesboro a good battle at home for, just had one little stretch in the third quarter. It cost them. So I really feel like on any given night, either one of our local teams could win against a Statesboro or an Effingham. So should be exciting, and we'll just see top 4 teams go to state. So we'll see if all 4 of those teams on Golden Isles basketball can make it through.
All right, and did I see Coach Maria had a milestone here the other night? 250 wins?
I think 250 wins, yeah. So that just means she's getting old, Sean.
Well, congratulations there. That's a big feather in her cap there. 250 wins. That's pretty impressive. So congratulations. But check our social media out. Check the website out, 912sports.net for all those. We'll try to announce those games as we get them lined up to, to broadcasting. But Kevin, you guys are fixing to kick off, I believe, on the 18th. The first game of Golden Isles baseball. We're going to be doing our third year over there with a mixture of Glen baseball and Brunswick baseball. Should be a good season for both of those teams. But you guys got a big season kicking off there on the 18th.
Yeah, we do, and I'm looking forward to baseball as well. Of course, right now it's cold and rainy outside, and that just means they started baseball practices. Really,
exactly.
All that means. And of course, we'll see. It's liable to be nasty weather next week as well. Could get some rain outs or could get weathered out right out of the gate. That always seems to be possible. Baseball at the beach, though, has turned into a really, really big deal. And we're glad to be there where we kind of kick off our broadcast. It includes teams from around the metro Atlanta area against teams from right here in the Southeast Georgia area. And actually, some of the Southeast Georgia area teams are going to meet next week, though. I think Glenn's playing McIntosh next Saturday. We're planning on doing that game. And then Friday night, we'll be over at Bud Couch Field to kick off the season with Golden Isles baseball, with Brunswick hosting North Forsyth out of the metro Atlanta area. But again, just exciting to see high school baseball back. I know you guys with the Gators had a good run last year. Glenn took a run all the way to the Elite Eight in Class 6A, and then we were there to cover those games and bring them back home as they played Allatoona and Westlake up in the Atlanta area on the road. And we had a lot of people listening. And I really hope, Sean, and I know you do as well, that we can build off our success with Golden Isles baseball the last 2 years, particularly last year. COVID kind of put a linchpin in things the first year we did it, but we got through last season, had a really good run at it. And this is something we're looking to grow right along with all of our Golden Isles platforms. But you have to start somewhere, which we did with basketball here this winter, and also softball, which has some success in the fall as well. So I'm just excited about the whole digital package that we have there with the Golden Isles and featuring both Brunswick and Glen teams. And the cool thing about it, Sean, is they play other teams from around our area, the 912, when they certainly play region games. So in baseball, we're going to do Richmond Hill, we're going to do Effingham, we're going to do South Effingham. And and speaking of baseball, it's loaded. That region's great. So it's good to be there with our teams, but also watching other teams from around the area as well. And hopefully their fans can listen in.
Exactly. Well, you saw earlier in the show, you saw the interview with Coach Ammons. We're going to be kicking off Gator baseball here. We actually kick off in Brunswick, Kevin, next Tuesday. I believe that date is the 15th. So for you Golden Isles baseball fans who want to see or listen to a Brunswick broadcast, can tune into the Gator broadcast on Tuesday the 15th, as we'll be over there taking on Coach Greg Roberts and the Brunswick High Pirates. But like I said, we're going into our 9th year, Kevin, here for Coach Conley and myself. Really looking forward to this year. Gators coming off a Final Four appearance last year, ranked number 7 to start this season. Got a really good core nucleus coming back, which Coach Hammons talked about earlier in the show. But they're really excited about Gator baseball this year as well. You can tune into both Golden Isles and Gator baseball on 912sports.net. I don't know that we'll have a game on every day, but there's a lot of weeks that we've got 3 or 4 games going on. So if you're looking to, listen to some high school baseball, you can click the link and, listen from anywhere. And that's the great thing, Kevin, from any platform, whether it be your phone, your tablet, your cell, your computer, whatever. As long as you got internet access, you can get to all of these broadcasts. And we're looking forward to a great season. And listen, if you're watching this and you want to be a part of either one of these programs, get in touch with us. We'll be glad to help you out and give you some information on it. But we've got almost everybody from last year's coming back for both of these broadcasts. Kevin, for the Gators and Golden Isles baseball. So it's something that people are really tuned into. I think last year with the big deep runs that Glenn had and the deep runs that that Ware had, made it kind of gave us a little bit of extra exposure. It was big business, a lot of people talking about it in the communities and that sort of thing. And I mean, we had huge numbers for Ware County's Final Four appearance. So, and I know you guys had big numbers in the Elite Eight there for Glenn. So really looking forward to both of those broadcasts this year. And like I said, it'll be here next Tuesday.
Yeah, and we get good support from the teams. The coaches are real good to work with, and the players get a kick out of being able to come on the radio and talk. Some of them are scared the first time they do it, but after that, they tend to warm up. And that's another thing. I've been real impressed with the local athletes that we put on the air this year, particularly here this winter in, basketball. I'm getting tongue-tied there. They have really been great to interview. A lot of fun. You can tell they enjoy playing, and just they seem to be smart kids, good kids in the classroom as well, and just well-spoken and yes sir, no sir kind of kids. And that's just good to see, whether they're getting that guidance from home or in the schools or certainly within their programs. They got a lot of kids that seem to be well-grounded and headed in the right direction. I know the baseball kids are the same way, and I like to say, look forward to talking to them and getting them on the air after they've had a big game or whatnot. But, Sean, I mean, a lot of people might look at our price sheets and go, ooh, that's a lot of money. And it is. It's really cheap, though, when you break it down throughout the whole season, game by game. And, when you look at what advertising really costs, I mean, our costs are really a bargain. And then in a lot of ways, we're just supporting the programs just as the other people are. And I think that's why a lot of people do it. But, it does take money to do it. We're not trying to hide behind that. And for us to get bigger, better, and stronger and bring you more games throughout the future, that's what it's going to take. And like I said, hopefully we're getting good support from within at the schools, and they can help us make that possible as well.
Exactly. Well, Kevin, it makes it all worthwhile when a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle or somebody that doesn't even live in this market comes up to us after a broadcast and goes, listen, man, we really appreciate you putting these games on the air. We're able to, sit in Atlanta and listen to, what Timmy or Bobby or, whoever is, playing for them and listen to their games. And, without, our platform, people wouldn't be able to do that. So I know it's making a difference. I know people are appreciative of it. And like I said, if you want to be a part of it, we'll be glad to get you some information and get you on board with either one of the broadcasts that we can. But Kevin, that's going to wrap it up for this week, man. Appreciate the time, and we'll be back here next week right here on Air with 912 Sports. Appreciate everybody watching. Thanks a lot.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.